Alright, Bobby Lee here, Hurricane Creek Farms. Appreciate you watching. Today we've got a few things on the agenda. Number one, primary objective, try to get some fertilizer spread on some pasture here at the house. About to head up to Helena right now to pick up a buggy. Get that home, get it spread. It's, as you can see, sun well up there behind me. Beautiful day. Expected some rain later on, so try to get that fertilizer spread, and that rain will be just in time for it. But again, remind everybody, give the video a thumbs up, please, if you enjoy it. And if you haven't subscribed already, we really appreciate that. So with that said, let's load up and get after it. Alright, so in typical Hurricane Creek Farms fashion, and really probably just in typical farming or ranching fashion, already had a significant change in plans this morning. I had contacted a buddy at Helena yesterday about coming up there and getting one of their buggies, getting loaded this morning to spread some fertilizer today. And he had said, well, actually they didn't have any that were going to be available, which didn't really surprise me because it's beautiful weather. It has dried up quite a bit, and we're expecting rain later today. And so imagine a lot of people were planning on getting some fertilizer put down, and all their units were spoken for. But I texted him this morning to say, hey, if they get one of them returned by a decent time, let me know. If not, I may try again this weekend. And he said, well, actually they had one that was available. So quickly dropped everything we were doing. We had planned on doing just a bunch of little odds and ends, and got everything together. And so now we're headed up there to grab that buggy, because really wanted to get that done today. It's like I said, it's going to rain this afternoon, so it'll be good timing getting that fertilizer put down, that rain, get it in the ground. It's the first week of April, first full week of April anyway, and so timing is right on getting those grasses to really jump, get that fertilizer on them. Putting all this fertilizer down on our pastures there in our house, as we call that farm, just where we keep the cow herd. Those pastures get beat up a lot worse just because we have animals there year round, even where we're able to rotate them off. They haven't had the chance to really jump and get ahead like where our stocker calves are. Two, the pasture where our stockers are has a lot more cool season grasses, a lot more clover and fescue. So those grasses are really doing well. Really got grass coming out of our ears there. We'll fertilize those later on this year. But yeah, really need to get those grasses for the cow herd going a little better. So get them put down. We did soil test back in December, so we know what we need, know what those pastures are calling for. All right, so we made it back from Helena with the buggy. Take a look in here. So there we are, pretty well loaded. I think we got just shy of 4 tons on there. So it should be enough at the rate we want to put it down to cover about 25 acres, which will get us over pretty much everything we want to right here. May have just a little bit left over that will run out, either out here in our bottom ground where we'll plant some annuals, or elsewhere. But gonna get that unhooked, get it on the back of the tractor. Ready to rock and roll. All right, so we're rolling along now. Things appear to be working as they should. But we're going to get to play a little bit of an exciting game that I like to call Will We Have Enough Fuel? See, we're well below a quarter of a tank, so we'll find out. I'm not going to call it Will We Run Out of Fuel, because we're not going to run out. It's just whether we're going to have to stop and go get some. And I think the safe money would say yes, we will have to stop, but we shall see. So just talk a little bit about the fertilizer we're putting down, and I guess to back up even a little further, and people probably get tired of hearing me say it, but all this is focusing on our grass, focusing on the forages. We are grass farmers, or I guess to include the legumes, we can say we're forage farmers. We're simply trying to turn sunshine into beef, through our grass. And so we soil tested back in December. It's now the first week of April. So we're putting down actually an even blend. It's going for 60 pounds of nitrogen, 60 pounds of phosphorus, and 60 pounds of potash, potassium per acre. And all that's based off those soil samples we pulled about 4 months ago. But trying to do that, the rain that is going to move in this afternoon, because it's granular fertilizer, the rain essentially melts it and puts it into the ground where the plants can then use it for feed essentially. But doing that, hopefully these warm season grasses, there is some clover in here, could really start to jump and pop, get the cows turned in here before long. So we spoke way too soon about things were going smoothly, because now they aren't. The drive wheel's engaged, it's turning the pulley, but the belts are slipping where they turn to drive, or turns drive the gearbox. So I'm not exactly sure what the issue is, but I called. They're going to send somebody out to take a look at it. The good news, the game of will we have enough fuel or not, the answer is going to absolutely be yes now, because while we're waiting on them, we're going to grab a fuel tank, put it on the back of the truck, and then go get some fuel. That way we don't have any just totally wasted time. But yeah, a little frustrating, but it's only 11 o'clock. Assuming they can get us up and going here for the next hour or even 2. I think the rain is supposed to get here about 4, so, but always something. Alright, so it's getting a little fuel. My dad and my uncle's operation has a big tank here. Put it in the transfer tank, put it on the back of the truck, back to the house, get that tractor fueled up, and hopefully have that buggy ready to go and get the fertilizer off there before the rain gets here. So we're pumping fuel. Exciting. Gonna try to avoid this really being any extra downtime. We knew we were gonna probably have to stop and get fuel anyway. Go ahead and get this fueled up. It's been about 30 minutes since I called them. Even if they got somebody right on the road, it's probably 35-40 minute drive, so hopefully it'll be a Relatively simple fix, but while we're waiting on them, actually got just a little spot on the fence over here I noticed the other day that needed to be addressed. I can fix that pretty quickly, and then so hopefully back on this machine. All right, so a simple little setup here with this transfer tank. Got it. It's not wired directly in. Those little clips on the battery to run the pump. Got that done. Got her full of fuel. Got a little left in the transfer tank, which I don't plan on leaving this tank on this truck for a variety of reasons. So hopefully it's not too much, and when we get done spreading fertilizer, we'll top that fuel tank off again. Hopefully have that empty, get it up back on the truck. All right, so here's the spot. Just got this tree down. You can see got some wires. Fence was nothing to brag about here to begin with. We get that cut off there, get these wires back up, put probably a couple of T-posts. And I apologize for the wind. It's really getting windy as these storm fronts start to move in, so I know the audio quality is going to be probably crap, but we'll just do the best we can with it. Apologize for that. Okay, so we got that off there. Got at least one wire still intact there. Get these tied back up. Get 4 or 5 good wires. Something I just thought of, I was smart, which the tractor is hooked up to the fertilizer buggy right now. We could have brought that tractor over here. Yeah, the ground's a little rough. Could have probably gotten those forks underneath that thing. It moved a lot easier. Might not have even needed the chainsaw. But oh well, got it moved now. Let's get on with it. All right, this wind blowing like it is, I didn't even hear him pull up. We got the buggy back ready to go, but so close to having that done. I'm gonna tie 2 more wires together to put a post, and we'll be done with this. I got a little project to do next. And of course, we've now drawn an audience. Anybody who's spending time around Jersey cows knows how curious, mischievous they can be. But especially now that I've drawn their attention to this spot, I certainly need to fix it, because chances are she'd be over there in short order if we didn't fix it. But I'll quit talking, get back to working. All right, so we got 5 wires back up. We got a post in there. Far from a thing of beauty, but it is functional, which is coincidentally how my wife justified marrying me about 12 years ago. So it works. All right, we're back in the saddle again. Thankfully, that was a relatively simple fix. Simply loosen some bolts, tighten up those belts, put a little more tension on the pulley as they were turning. That's all it was. I looked at that and it really did cross my mind that may be all I need to do. But if you've watched very many of these videos, you know I'm not very mechanically minded or skilled, and so I certainly did not want to be making those adjustments on my own, on a lone piece of equipment, and potentially making the problem worse. But yeah, we're back going. Thankful for that. And get this pasture fed, and we really need to go get to checking cows. We really haven't checked any of them. Downhill she speeds up a little bit. You can see out here in front of me, actually, if I can hold the camera straight, there's much of the cow herd right there, out there in that bottom. We'll actually probably let them in this pasture we're in right now this weekend. It's coming on pretty strong. Out there where they are, there's not much to eat right now. We do have hay out there for them, a couple rolls. They're being very stubborn. They do not want to go back to eating hay, even though it is really good hay we put out. They just, once spring hits, they start getting a little bit of green grass, convincing them to nibble on a little hay. If that grass gets a little short, it's tough to do. So they're not starving to death, but they're eager to get in here. But, oh, another thing, one of the reasons we upgraded tractors this past winter was for what we're doing right now, pulling fertilizer buggy. The smaller tractor, the 9960, would do fine, but it's a little bigger, a little heavier machine, a little better for when you've got 4 tons of fertilizer behind you. Not getting pushed around by it as much on these hills. We do try to run out as much as we can on our flatter ground before getting onto the hills, but we don't have a whole lot of flat ground to begin with, and so it does pull a little better, we can tell. Yeah, going up the hills can be a problem, and going down the hills can be equally as big of a problem, because you definitely need to stop. So being careful, farm safety. A lot of people out there don't think of farming as being a particularly dangerous job. You think of jobs where you can easily get hurt, things like law enforcement, certainly military, maybe construction jobs, things like that. But farming statistically is one of the more dangerous occupations. A lot of times we tend to be working alone. We're in rural areas where if something does happen, sometimes it takes a little while for a first responder maybe to get there. And there's a lot of big equipment, big animals. A lot of times we do get in too much of a hurry. So, safety first. All right, so we got all that fertilizer put down. You can see what was a bright, sunshiny morning has turned into a it's dramatic. Turned into kind of a gloomy, overcast afternoon. Got to get that buggy back to Helena, but I want to take advantage of a few minutes before it starts raining and ride through the cows real quickly. I think we have 4 or 5 that have yet to calve. I don't think anybody super close. Got a couple that probably within the next week or so, but that mama right there was very stirred up about we were bothering her calf. But anyway, let's ride through them. Here actually comes, 2 of them that are yet to calve. These last 2 right here. Both are kind of starting to make a bag. Kind of the rear end back there. Not looking like anything is imminent the next day or 2, but they look good. This gal here is also yet to calve. You can see she's not making a bag at all yet. So she's still got a little ways to go. And then 503 right there is the other one that we know is yet to calve. See, she's starting to make a little bit of a bag too, so I don't know. I almost bet she'll be the next one to go. You can see there's really not a lot out here for them to eat. They've mostly eaten this down, but got hay over there for them. They want grass. They want green grass. Right over there on the other side of the tree line is the pasture that we just fertilized. Or one of the pastures we just fertilized, I should say. We'll probably let them in there this weekend or early next week, another 3 to 5 days or so. Just try to let it get a little bit of a jump. If we let them in there right now, as much as they would enjoy it, because there is some grazing more in there than there is here, they'd have it knocked back just within a day or 2 and then be right back where they are now. If we can let it get a little jump, especially you get this nice warm rain this afternoon, get that fertilizer in the ground, give it a few days. The grass is just starting to jump this time of year anyway, but anyway, they'll be content. We're going out of town for a few days next week too, and so that way they'll be in there, and whoever I have watching them won't have any need to be rotating pastures or anything. Make it a little simpler. But anyway, we're gonna get that buggy back, and we're gonna stop and check the starter calves on the way. Well, they're probably gonna be near about impossible to count all wadded up like this. We'll try to get a count on them. But again, everything looks good. Looks like they're all here. Everybody seems to be content. And that may just about wrap it up this video. We appreciate you watching. The big thing that we got accomplished, that we had to get done or really wanted to get done, was getting that pasture fertilized. We're glad we were able to get a hold of that buggy and do so. Gonna get a return. Keep watching, keep tuning in. I'm not sure what we'll have in the next video. We get back from being out of town next week. I think we're going to get the heifers that are in this bunch, mainly the colored calves, out of here back to the house, figure out who we're going to keep for replacements. We'll try to market as replacements, who we're going to just go ahead and sell. And probably the same day we take them to sell, we'll try to pick up 8 or 10 more of these black calves. They'll fit right in with this bunch. That way we'll have a good solid truckload to sell this fall. Anyway, we appreciate you watching. Glad you could tune in. Give us a thumbs up. Again, if you haven't subscribed, please do so. And remember, eat beef and God bless.